Welcome to List Lab. Today we're exploring historic British mysteries, the kind that sits stubbornly in the gaps between records, rumours and unanswered questions. Some involve missing people, others involve strange evidence that refuses to fit any neat explanation. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fantastic lists. We cover all sorts of subjects. Let's begin the countdown. Number 10. The Green Children of Woolpit. In the 12th century, villagers in Woolpit, Suffolk, reported finding two children who looked like no one they recognised. Chroniclers later wrote that the children's skin appeared green. Their speech was unfamiliar, and they seemed disoriented and frightened. They initially refused most food, but were said to eat raw broad beans when they found them. Over time, the surviving child learned English, and the green colouring was reported to fade, yet her account of where they came from remained difficult to interpret. Whether this was a misunderstood case of migration, illness, folklore growing in the retelling, or something else entirely, the story persists because it was recorded by more than one medieval writer. Number 9. The Disappearance of the Princess in the Tower. In 1483, Edward V and his younger brother Richard were lodged in the Tower of London during a period of intense political upheaval. Contemporary accounts suggest they were seen less and less, until they were no longer visible at all. Their uncle took the throne as Richard III, which quickly shaped suspicions about what might have happened behind closed doors. Much later, bones found in the tower were treated as possible remains of the princes, but certainty has never been achieved. The mystery endures because the evidence is fragmentary, the motives were real, and every explanation relies on incomplete records. Number 8. The Devil's Footprints of Devon. In February 1855, after a night of snowfall in Devon, reports spread of a strange line of prints stretching for miles across the countryside. Locals claimed the marks appeared in places that seemed to defy ordinary travel, including over walls and across rooftops. Newspapers at the time carried a range of interpretations, from misidentified animal tracks to more sensational ideas. Modern suggestions often focus on how different prints can be distorted by thawing snow, wind, and repeated observation. Even so, the scale of the reports and the variety of descriptions make it difficult to reduce to a single, tidy answer. Number 7. The Tichborne Claimant. In the mid-19th century, a man appeared claiming to be Sir Roger Tichborne, an heir presumed lost at sea years earlier. The family was divided, with some relatives supporting him while others insisted he was an impostor. The claimant's manner, memories, and physical details were argued over in public, turning identity itself into a national spectacle. The case ended in court, where the man was convicted of perjury, yet belief in him persisted for many. It remains a fascinating mystery of motive and persuasion, because the social forces around the claim were almost as important as the facts. Number 6. The Disappearance of the Norfolk Regiment. During the Gallipoli campaign in 1915, elements of the 1/5th Battalion, Norfolk Regiment, were reported missing after advancing during fighting near Suvla. Stories later circulated that the men walked into a strange haze and were never seen again, a detail that helped push the event into legend. What is clearer is that wartime confusion, poor visibility, and chaotic communications made accurate accounting extremely difficult. Some remains were later recovered in the area, but not in a way that neatly resolved every question about what happened in those hours. The mystery survives because the historical record contains gaps, and those gaps were quickly filled by rumours that outlived the official paperwork. Number 5. The Shugborough Inscription. At Shugborough Hall in Staffordshire, a stone relief known as the Shepherd's Monument carries a short sequence of letters that has never been convincingly explained. The inscription, often discussed as OUSVVV with DM, placed separately, has been treated as a possible cipher, a memorial, or a private joke turned to stone. Over the years, proposed solutions have ranged from Latin dedications to elaborate cryptographic readings. None has achieved broad agreement, partly because there is no surviving key or context explaining why it was carved. It is a small mystery, but a stubborn one, because it sits in plain sight and still resists confident interpretation. Number 4. The murder of Charles Bravo. In 1876, Charles Bravo died in London after a sudden and agonizing illness, later linked to poisoning. Suspicion fell on those closest to him, including members of his household, but no one was convicted. Victorian investigations relied on limited forensic methods, and public attention distorted the case almost immediately. Motives were proposed, alibis debated, and reputations ruined, yet the evidence never locked into a decisive narrative. The case remains compelling because it sits at the crossroads of class, scandal, and an investigative system not yet equipped to prove what many believed. Number 3. The strange case of Spring-Heeled Jack. From the 1830s onward, reports appeared of a figure said to move in unnaturally high leaps and to frighten pedestrians in London and beyond. Witness statements varied widely, describing strange clothing, sudden appearances, and in some versions, an ability to breathe fire. The account spread through newspapers and word of mouth, amplifying fear and encouraging imitation. Some historians argue it was a mix of hoaxes, moral panic, and misidentification rather than a single individual. Yet the consistency of certain themes over time keeps the question alive. Was there an original source behind the legend, or did the legend create its own evidence? Number 2. The disappearance of Lord Lucan. In November 1974, after the killing of the family nanny at the Lucan home, Lord Lucan vanished and was never reliably seen again. His abandoned car was later found in Sussex, adding to speculation that he intended to flee by sea. Investigations and inquests pointed strongly in his direction, but absence turned the story into something harder to close. Sightings were reported around the world, yet none led to a confirmed discovery. The mystery persists because the event had a clear human context, but the final act, how he escaped, or whether he survived, remains undocumented. Number 1. Who put Bella in the Wych Elm? In 1943, children in Hagley Wood, Worcestershire, found a human skull inside a hollow Wych Elm tree. The remains were identified as an adult woman, but her name and the circumstances of her death were never conclusively established. Soon after, graffiti began appearing nearby, asking who had put Bella in the Wych Elm, suggesting someone knew more than they were saying. The name itself may have been real, a misdirection or a detail borrowed from rumour, but it changed the tone of the case permanently. With uncertain identity, unclear motive, and a message that feels like a deliberate taunt, it remains one of Britain's most haunting unsolved mysteries. Which entry did you find most interesting, and why? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more calm deep dives into history's unanswered questions, like and subscribe for more from this lab.